Okay. So, in the last class, in fact, we are discussing about perceptron learning view. Okay. Perceptron learning view. We refer to the slides of Professor Nitish Kapra from IITM. In fact, he has offered a course on SWIRE. Okay, so this is what we did in the last class. So we try to understand the concept behind the learning algorithms. First one is gradient descent is what we learned. Followed by gradient descent, how it works. We fix a cost function like this. E is equal to 1 by 2 ypd minus yp whole square. And then you find out the error. And then you check whether for the given set of weights, the error is coming down. Okay, so the error has to minimize. So we employ something called a gradient. Okay, so do E by 2w. And make it sure that it reaches the minimum value. Okay, so that's equal to 0 for a classic case. Okay, quadratic function, cost function. So normally we will be satisfied with a particular amount of error. We won't be looking for zero error. Okay, normally we won't be looking for the minimum possible error. We'll be satisfied with some level of error. So then we'll iterate and we'll reach that point and we'll stop there. So the cost functions is a kind of a squared functions like this, quadratic cost functions. So that's what we understood in the last class. Followed by a brief outline I gave about the perceptron learning, in fact. Okay, so we learned about this learning algorithm. Okay, so W is equal to W plus X. So remember, W is equal to misclassified version, W plus X, and W is equal to W minus X. Okay, so this can be written as W is equal to W plus EX, error. In the case of perceptron, the error can be either positive or negative, +1 or -1. So naturally, it will be like this. Okay. So it will be misclassified means if it is -1, you need to get a 0, but you got a -1, then the error is -1. Okay. So you need to get 1, but you got 0, then you need to add something. Okay. So the difference is 1, and therefore W plus EX is what you will be getting. That's what this case. You need to have 1, but the network is showing 0. Then this case. You need to have 0, but you got 1 from the network. Then you got to apply this weight. So we also learned about something called the 90-degree angle. Okay, the cosine angle, a dot product. It is more like a dot product is what we learned. W transpose X equal to 0 is a dot product. So the weight vector should be perpendicular to the line. That's the idea. This line, whatever line that you are drawing, weight vector should be perpendicular to it. Under the positive of space, it should be positive and it should be negative. For example, if the weight vectors are pointing like this, then this side is positive, this side is negative. So any point lying in this region, okay, they are going to have angles less than 90 degrees with this vector, weight vector. This is a line. W transpose X equal to 0. So the weight vector is perpendicular to the line what you have. So any point which is on the positive of space should have positive value because the angle is 90 degree, and any point on the negative side. Okay, so it's going to enjoy negative angles. Okay, in the sense that the angle will be less. That is, the value will be less. Negative values will be good. Okay, so you can imagine this to the cosine angle. Okay, from 1 to 0, 0 to 90 degree cosine angle, and then again the angle is greater than 90 degree, you're going to have ended up in negative values. So naturally, that's what this idea is. The perceptron learning algorithm we learned from these slides. Okay, so now let us move ahead and try to visualize again the same perceptron learning algorithm. Okay, from a different person. Okay, so this man, in fact, he has given his book Neural Network Design along with the slides and demonstrations on the website. In fact, the first class I have shown to you. Maybe you can visit his website. Okay, Neural Network Design. The book title Neural Network Design. So I will show you that. Martin Hagen. Okay, this is a guy. Martin Hagen. This professor has given people to use. In fact, he is a key person in developing the neural network toolbox in MATLAB. If you can visit his website, you can go through the neural network toolbox in MATLAB, and there is a MATLAB command documentation, PDF format you may get. Documentation. Our university is having full license, so you can access MATLAB and you can collect data. And if they are asking for any permission, you can refer our university's name. Okay, because we have paid money, and its university is fully covered under this scheme. Okay, the license scheme. Anybody in this, all students and faculty members, they can access both online version as well as the offline version of it, MATLAB. You have there is MATLAB. There is a provision for online. Online version is available. Okay, using I think cloud source, you can use that. Maybe you can refer to that. Maybe you can send a mail to mathworks.com if you want access. And you can download the documentation also for neural network toolbox. It's quite useful for you to do a project or something. Okay, so now let us try to visualize the ideas what we have learned in the last class again with some more slides. Okay, so this is the kind of network we are talking about. There are P1, P2 patterns are there. These are all the weights. Okay, so now we are passing it through the hard limiting function. The hard limiter is the threshold. More like it's a function I'm calling it. Okay, threshold function. In our problem, in fact, this bias is -1 in this case. Okay, but we are now passing it through. Not only the bias is more like a threshold is what we have done so far. Now we are introducing the transfer function at the output. It limits the output either to be either 0 or 1. Okay, so now this is what the line we are talking about. Okay, and you can see clearly the weight vectors are pointing exactly perpendicular to the line. Weight vectors pointing perpendicular to the line that you have drawn. How do you draw the line? For this case, W11 P1 plus W12 P2, okay, plus B, okay. This is the thing you are passing it through your function. Okay, so the function value will be equal to either 0 or 1. Okay, so now this is a line. From this you can write the line equation comfortably. How do you write the line equation? You know that. So if you want to work out for P2, this is a P2 P1 pattern. So we want to mark this line. So this line equation will be W12 P2 will be equal to minus P minus W11 P1. Therefore P2 is equal to minus B by W12 minus W11 by W12 P1. So this will be the line equation. This Y is equal to M X plus C. Okay, this is a C intercepting point, B by W. So that's the kind of line we are talking about. Okay, so two input neuron is this. So I think every one of you feeling comfortable with this expression. So decision boundary is so all the points on the decision boundary have the same inner product with the weight vector. So whatever points here, all the points on the line, they are going to have this particular expression. W transpose P is equal to minus 1. Or otherwise you can say W transpose P plus B is equal to 0. All points on decision boundary have the same inner product with weight. Therefore, they have the same projection onto the weight vector. And they must lie on a line orthogonal to the weight vector. Okay, they should lie on a line orthogonal to the weight vector. So that's the idea. Now we have learned how to draw lines. Okay, so now we need to work out the weight vector in such a fashion that for this case the weight vector is like this. The problem is solved because all positive side you are going to get positive, this is negative. So easily you can draw a line like this and you can solve the example or problem. Okay, or problem can be solved like this. Okay, so now let's take some examples and try to apply it. Now let us see how we are solving. So in the examination, so you will be given some problems also. Okay, you need to work out this kind of problems on a notebook. So if it is feasible now, take a notebook. Okay, spend some around 5 minutes of time. How do you solve this problem? If I give this problem, think about it and let me know. How do you find the weights for this given three patterns? If you work it out on your own, how do you do? Just think and let me know. I'll give you 2 minutes, 3 minutes time. Any quick idea? What do you do? How to solve this? How do you find out the weights and biases for this case, for this problem? Quick idea. Anything that comes to your mind? Yeah.
So we first plot the points, sir.
Okay. You already plotted, yeah. So these are all the points. 1, 2. 1, 2 is here. Okay.
Then
Minus
assume
1, 2 is here. And 0 minus. Yeah.
then assume a linear separability line, sir.
Okay. How do you get that line equation? For getting the line equation, you should know the weights and biases. Okay. So we don't know this. W11 we don't know. W12 we don't know. And this bias, if we want to give, that also we don't know. No bias. This neuron is no bias. But the problem statement is no bias. Okay. So naturally, only threshold is there. Okay, this is more like a transfer function. Hard limiting transfer function. It's like a step function, na? Either 1 or 0. Okay, that kind of a function it is. So whatever output is going to come here, it's going to pass through that hard limit function, and you're going to get the output, either 0 or 1. So how do we develop the algorithm? Yeah, anybody?
Random initialization.
Yeah, random initialization. Start with some random initialization. That's always all your code. Start with random initialization. Randomly initialize, random initialization followed by, you should check for every pattern. P1 for this pattern, what is the your output? A plus B, whether it is greater than or equal to 0 or less than. So this you need to check. Then check for the desired label. Compare with the desired label whether it is classified or misclassified. You have to check it. You have to check whether it's classified or misclassified. If it is classified properly, no need to update the weight. If it is not properly classified, then you have to update the weight by W plus. Okay, if it is two rules are there, W minus P, W plus P. Okay, so you should know that. Based on the pattern P1, then you have to do it for all the patterns. How many patterns here? We have 3 patterns. Okay, so there are 3 patterns. You have to do it for all the patterns. So you have to either update the weight or update the weight like this or subtract the weight like this. And then if there are some kind of learning rates or something given, you need to apply that also. Learning rates are given, you have to apply that. Okay. How do you apply learning rate? W, what is the learning rule? W equal to W plus beta times. It's a kind of expression. Okay, this learning rate can be 1 in this case. Normally we can choose learning rate between 0 to 1. What did I say about learning rate? Anybody? What it's going to tell you? What do you understand with the term learning rate? More like a weightage you are giving now. So how much amount of P1 you are going to add with W? Okay, so it's more like a weightage. So if I'm going to have a huge value here, more amount of P1 I'm going to try to add here. So thereby I'm becoming more aggressive. Aggressive in pushing my weights towards that point. Okay, but that's not really going to help me. That's what we learned. Okay, if you look at the error curve, this gradient is decided, the step is decided by this kind of learning rate. So if I'm going to choose a bigger step, sometimes I may miss the minimum point. So naturally you should be careful in choosing this learning rate. This learning rate, they call it as hyperparameter tuning. There are a lot of hyperparameters when it comes to deep learning. Okay, tuning the hyperparameter itself is a challenge. Many times, in fact, if you look at the kind of the kind of development that we are seeing, the field of machine learning, okay, the development of codes, okay, Python codes or this kind of algorithms, it's not a big deal, okay, because people have come up with a lot of good ideas, and these standard codes are really working well, okay, right now. Particularly for engineers, you are not doing research, okay. You need to research means you need to come up with a new algorithm. But as an engineer, when you are going to work in this field, it is essential for you to know the tools, okay, and you should know how to operate the tools. So in that case, these algorithms are very well defined and these codes are all available. So development of code is not a big deal. The challenge comes when you are going to apply it for your data set. Okay, that's a big problem. So you have a data set given to you as an young engineer, you'll be given this kind of data set and you'll be asked to infer something from the data. As a machine learning engineer, you'll be working on it. So that is the case. Inferring something from the data set, you should know, okay, how to apply algorithms and how you are going to tune the hyperparameters. That's a challenge. Okay. So in fact, most of you in this class have been knowing about something called Kaggle. Okay. So this is a machine learning kind of data science community. Maybe you can visit this website. Okay. So I'm just referring it now. Okay. So you can go through this website. You can collect a lot of data sets, and you can do a lot of micro courses also. That's very important. Okay. You can do a lot of micro courses. Those who are not quite comfortable with Python, okay, introduction to machine learning and all, maybe you can go through this courses, micro courses. It will be for maybe 5 hours, 6 hours kind of a course. The courses are free, and you can earn certificates also. Okay, that will be valued in the market. I think personally, I feel Kaggle is now gaining popularity. See here the kind of courses they are offering: all data cleaning, machine learning explainability, geospatial problems, how you can apply machine learning to it, deep learning. Okay, and under the Python, they are offering courses like Pandas. Okay, Pandas is for data kind of analysis purpose. We use Pandas. Okay, data visualization through Matplotlib is there. There is a software. There is a package in Python. Under introduction to machine learning, they use scikit-learn, I think. Okay, the scikit-learn, in fact, I already said to you. Maybe you can go through it and get a feel of all this. I think it's the right time. You are, in fact, I covered almost 5-6 hours of class. Now you need to stop probing. Okay, how I can develop a code for Perceptron, what kind of tools I can use. All these you should start thinking. MATLAB or Python. Python is I think the learning community is very strong and it's an open source community. You get all kinds of support. Okay, I feel Python is a better option because those you guys, you're going to work for another 10-20 years in the information communication domain. So I think a good background on Python is really going to be used to you. So you need to plan now and start learning and start applying this. Okay. This scikit-learn, I said. So for example, you want to work with Python Perceptron learning algorithm. Just simply type to get the required codes, required kind of supports. That's why I said coding will not be a big issue for you. Okay, you will start applying. You should know the theory behind the code. Okay. Yeah, this is a linear model perceptron. Okay, you can go through this. sklearn linear model perceptron. You simply just click it, you'll get the code. So various parameters are given here. See here, fit intercept, maximum kind of iterations that is going to work with. Okay, then you have got random state, early stopping. You want to stop the iterations earlier. Okay, validation fraction, number of iterations with no change you are going to allow. Okay, class weight. So all these you need to read and get a feel. See, the ideas are all given clearly here. Maybe you can read it and you can get your insights. Okay, how you can use this. So they will also give a code, which in fact directly you can upload it in the Google Colab and you can run it. Okay, look at this, the code examples they are given here. So they'll give it for some data set. Okay, and you can use that data set, or otherwise you can apply your own data set and you can study the responses. So these are all NumPy arrays, ND arrays or NumPy arrays. Okay, so you should know how to use this. It will not be very difficult, I'm telling you. You start working on, you will easily learn and catch up, and you will start getting some immediate results. Okay, so that's the idea. So now we'll move there. So now that's the, yeah, this is a training point. Now look at this case. Okay, now for this problem, we are starting with an initial weight of 1 and minus 0.8. Okay, now these are all my data. This is negative data, positive data. Okay, so naturally I'm starting with a weight like this. What is this weight? 1, and this is minus 0.8. So naturally this is a weight. Now what I'm doing, I'm passing it through a function, Hodling function. I take the dot product, W transpose P1. So what do I get? W transpose P1, hard limiter function, it is minus 0.6. Minus 0.6 means, compare here data, if it's a the given set of weights, I obtain 0. What is the, how do I update the weight now? What is the weight rule for this case? New weight is equal to, W is equal to, yeah, tell me. Krishna, what is the weight update rule? Hey, no. Okay. Yeah, I'll call someone. Abhijit, what is the weight update rule? Kailash? What's the weight update rule?
நீங்க பேசுனதுல நடுவுல ஸ்டக் ஆச்சு ஒண்ணுமே கேட்கல அந்த திருப்பி சொல்றீங்களா
எப்ப பேசும்போது
அந்த வெயிட்ஸ் நான் ஆரம்பிச்ச போதே ஸ்டக் ஆயிடுச்சு சார்
ஓகே ஓகே லிசன்
இல்ல கொஞ்சம் கீழே
yeah so now look at this, now look at this, that's an initial set of random weights I have assigned. Okay, that weight is pointing like this. You look at this graph clearly, that weight is like this. So this weight should be perpendicular to the classification line. Okay, so that's a weight. Now my classifier is misclassifying this data, primarily because this side is positive, this side is negative, but it is now this positive point is in the negative side. So naturally it's a misclassification. Now how do I update the weight? That's the question I have asked. How do I update the weight? What's the rule I employ? Is it clear now? Am I audible now? You guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ananta Karthik, yeah.
Yes, sir, audible, sir.
Yeah, very good. Tell me now, how do I update the weight? What's the logic? W should move towards the P. Okay, that's the idea, new P1. Therefore, it should be W plus P1. Are you getting the point? So if it is misclassified in this way, okay, if I am going to misclassify this data, I should put minus P1. Okay, so that's the idea. That's what we learned, W equal to W plus X. Last class we learned this. I hope you can recall that. But right now, that's the idea. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to push my weight. Which direction? This weight vector is going to move in this direction because P1 is here. Okay, is it clear what I'm saying? Are you getting the point? Every one of you? Look at this next case. Yeah, now set, but this is not, normally we won't keep it exactly equal to P1. Okay, so add P1 to W1. So what we do? So here the rule is my target, I want a 1, but what I obtained is 0. So naturally, this is my perceptron learning. Instead of X, I have put a P here. Okay. W is equal to W plus X is what we learned from Capra's lecture. Now from Hagen's slides, I'm saying instead of P, I'm using X. You getting the point? So naturally, I'm updating the weight now. 1 plus minus 0.8 weight is initially here. I've added 1, 2. This pattern is what I'm interested in. First pattern. So that is 1, 2. That is 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay. Now I added that with this weight, initial weight. This is my initial weight. Now I'm going to add this point, means naturally I'm going to get the vector addition. I'm going to get new point. New vector is. Okay. So this new vector, we have to check whether it is classifying it properly or not. So now what happened? Because this new vector is perpendicular to these 2 points. Okay, now can you see it? This is my line. Okay, what is that line? New vector line. This is my line. For this line, this is perpendicular. Are you seeing it clearly? For this line, this is the kind of vector I'm talking about. But what happens? There is one point here. This is on the positive side now. I don't want that. It is misclassified. This is classified correctly, but this one is misclassified. So this is a negative point. So what do I get? The target is 0, but my A will be equal to 1 for this pattern 2. So naturally, I need to update my weight. New weight is equal to old weight minus that P2 pattern, this pattern. Then only I can get my results proper. So that's what we are going to do next case. So this one will work out for 2 patterns. This one is all right. This weight, new weight, is all right for this pattern and this pattern, but it's wrong for this pattern. Are you getting the point? Every one of you. Kailash.
Yes, sir.
Can you see it clearly? This weight vector, new weight vector, is classifying correctly for this pattern and this pattern. Pattern 1 and 3, it's okay. But for pattern 2, it's wrongly classified. It is
Yes,
on the positive side. Okay. So naturally, I need to move my weight such that W minus P2 is what I am going to put now. So naturally, if I put minus 2, this weight is going to again come down a bit in order to get a different slope for the line. That's what you are seeing here. Can you see it clearly now? So now from this point, this is my initial weight now. From there, I am moving here, a different point. Okay. So my line vector is going to be like this. Can you see it clearly? My line vector is this. Now in this case, what is the problem? Again, there is one misclassification. Can you see it how the algorithm works? So it's trying to move the slope of this line here and there and trying to check whether for which particular weight you'll be getting the right classification. But for this one, again I'm getting one misclassification, and again I need to turn this weight a bit here in this direction. So when I do that, I'll be classifying something like this. Okay. So but in this case, yeah, all right. Yeah. So now I'm going to push it a bit. Now see here, from that point, from this point, and again I applied it for the third point. Okay, P3 I applied. Incorrect classification, and therefore again that one is added, subtracted, I'm getting a new point like this. This is my new weight vector. Okay. This new weight vector, if you look at this case, exactly classifies. These two are the negative side. This is on the positive side. So naturally, the patterns are now correctly classified. For the third pattern also, the third pattern it is not classified here. Okay, so we are applying it again and updating the weight, and we are seeing now that you are getting a much better weight. Okay. So now we got satisfied. So that's what the unified learning rule impact tells you. Mu is equal to old plus pattern. If T is equal to target is equal to 1 and the neural network output is 0, I need to update the weight like this. If the target is equal to 0 and neural network output is 1, again misclassification, both are misclassification. I'll be updating the weight like this. Then target is equal to A, I'll be using the old weight as a new weight. Error is target minus neural network output. If E is equal to 1, then I'll be getting this. When E is equal to minus 1, I'll be getting this. Is E is equal to 0? It will be. So here is the exact gradient descent. Okay, but here this bias, we have included the bias as a W naught. Okay, in our previous case. Remember, okay, bias is also included. But in this case, we are going to use bias mu is equal to old bias plus if you want to update the bias. This problem, the bias is not there. But if you want to update the bias, you need to work out like this, same manner. Okay. So if the error is going to be positive, new bias will be equal to old bias plus the error can be positive 1 or negative 1. Either only two cases. Error can be positive 1 or negative. Okay, that's the idea. So you can update the bias also. So the same idea holds for matrix form also. So now look at the second case. Now in your notebook, you try to take this problem, maybe work out like a homework. Okay. For this particular problem, update the weights. Choose some initial weights. It's a three-dimensional case. Okay, choose some weights from bias, initial bias, and then update it. I will give you a different problem. Maybe this you can see it directly. Okay, so hard limiter again, WP1 plus. Look at this, the dot product. Okay, plus 0.5. So you'll be getting this expression. Error. Error is equal to 1 is what you obtain. And W mu is equal to W old plus E transpose for weight updation. Because of the error is 1 here, updation is like this. Okay. Second iteration, third iteration. So you can proceed in the same manner till you get the final values perfectly matching. So that's the idea. So for any doubts? Any clarification required?
So that apple and orange, can you explain again, sir? I didn't get it properly.
Same problem, huh? Same thing. It's the same idea. Look at this. Look at this. That's the problem. Yeah, apple and banana. You look at this case. There is a pattern P1. Okay. For that pattern, you have collected some data. It is an apple. So maybe it may be shape. First one may be pointing towards the shape. Second one may be the weight. The third one may be the texture. That's what we've seen. I think a few classes back we've seen a demo on MATLAB. Okay, to separate out the apples and oranges. I hope you can recall. Here it's banana they are given, but anything. Anyway, just for our understanding, 1 minus 1 is another part. So 1 is apple, banana is orange. 0. Okay. So in order to train a neural network, how many inputs you give for this neural network? 1, 2, 3. Okay, P1. P1 is there are 3 inputs: x1, x2, x3. Or otherwise, I can say -1, 1, and -1. So that's the kind of pattern P1. So pattern P1, 3 inputs. Okay. Then the target is 1. I want the desired output should be 1. How do I work out perceptron? Again, perceptron. So I'm going to use a hard limiter function. Okay, step function. Step function. After aggregating the values, I'm going to use it. But here in this case, I'm using a bias also. In this problem, bias is added separately. 0.5. Okay. So what is the expression I'll be getting? W11. Okay. The first value -1 plus W12. Second value W1. Third one W13 -1. For the first pattern P1, it will be like this. Addition of 3 linear combination of these 3 values. Okay. Plus bias. Bias is 0.5. If this passes through for some initial random weights, if it passes through a step function like this. Okay, if it passes through a step function, based on these initial random weights, whatever value you're going to get, the output can be either 1 or 0. For initial random weights, definitely you will not be getting perfect results. You have to update the weights. Okay, still you get the perfect value. So that's what we are doing here. So look at this. Hard limb WP1 plus B, hard limb the first weight, initial random weights, 0.5, -1, -0. And you apply the first pattern, -1, 1, -1. We are doing it for the first pattern, plus B. If it passes through this, what is the value? After multiplying all this, you are getting -0.5. That is 0. If you pass through the hard limit function. Can you understand what I mean by hard limit function, everybody? Hard limiter, it's called. Why it is limiting? It is limiting. They cut short some values. Switching on only at a particular value. It's more like a step function. That's called hard limit function. So naturally for hard limit, it's going to be 0. But what do I want? I want 1 for the first pattern. So naturally, I'm substituting now. T1 minus A, the error is 1. If the error is equal to 1, I apply the weight update to W old plus E pattern. That pattern is that particular pattern. Which pattern? Pattern 1. Keep that in mind. I'm doing it for the pattern. So weights plus 1. What does this 1 indicate? Error. This one, the pattern P1. This is the error. So I have got a new weight. Then new bias is equal to old bias plus error is the formula. Directly applied. Okay. So you updated both the weights as well as the bias. Krishna, is it clear? Again, you have a doubt here? Anywhere?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Inge the doubt, sir. No, sir.
Clear? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Can you put in words again this slide, Krishna? One word only enna pandrom.
Sir, so basically, we have 2 points, sir.
2 patterns.
We have 2 patterns, sir.
Two vector apart. You want the 2-dimensional vector.
So first pattern is apple.
Yeah, fine. Proceed.
So one pattern is apple and the other pattern is banana. For apple, we need 1, and for banana, will be need of 0.
Okay. It is labeled. Labeled data.
Labeled. So initial weights கொடுத்துட்டாங்க, அப்புறம் bias கொடுத்துட்டாங்க. So first iteration we will be using W into P1 plus B in the formula use பண்ணுவோம். Using the hard limiter function. So that work பண்ணோம்னா we will get the A
dot product எடுத்தோம்னா இப்போ -0.5
dot product. Yeah. So we find the error using that formula. Then we update the new weight and the new bias.
That's all. So you get a new line, okay, that you always think of. If it is a 3-dimensional, it is a plane you will be getting. The new plane is what you will be getting. Okay, 2-dimensional, it's a line. Line like this, weight vector. The 3-dimensional, you will be getting a plane. That weight vector should be perpendicular to the plane. Keep that in mind. Okay, it should be, it is perpendicular to the plane, the weight vectors. Now you apply the second pattern. For the given updated weight, you understand the problem now? For the updated weight, you are applying the second pattern, P2.
Sir.
Another Kartika.
Hi, sir. Sir, can you show the start of the previous problem, sir?
Yeah. Yes.
Not this one, sir, the previous one.
This one?
Yes, sir. Just start.
Random initial.
So we assume initial weight, random initial weight.
That is right. That's random initial weight. Yeah, you are assuming. Okay. Normally, you can be you see, if the 2-dimensional data is given to you, it's extremely trivial to think about finding weights. Okay. We have taken a 2-dimensional case in order to learn the algorithm. You understand? So if you look at the data, immediately you can draw a line. 2-dimensional data is given to you. What do? You know that these 2 patterns are one class and this is another class. Immediately you draw a line like this, you finish the job. Okay, it's not an issue at all. But what I'm saying is we are trying to code, okay, for multi-dimensional data. A 2-dimensional data, whatever it is going to work out, okay, 2D, it's going to work out for 10,000 dimension, 1 million dimension also. That's the beauty of this subject. Okay, so when you are going to talk about big data, particularly image-based data and all, the image, in fact, you'll be talking about 3-dimensional, okay, but each dimension, in fact, you will be having what you call pixels of data, okay, spatial data. You'll be having 1 million pixels. Then you are talking about something like in 1 million dimension data. Okay, wherein you need to work out kind of a deep learning algorithm and all this. Okay. So it's more like scaling up. That's all. But the idea is the same.
Okay.
Scaling up. If you learn how to work out for a 2-dimension, you can work out for 1 million dimension. That is the beauty of linear algebra. So you spend some time on linear algebra, okay? Try to learn the basics, so that you will be appreciating the subject much more deeply. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes,
how it really working out and all. So, but the key point is initial random weights you need to choose. The algorithm will start. Normally there will be some random initializer will be there in the algorithm. Python will see how we can do that.
okay, sir.
Okay. So we'll start with that and we'll proceed. So now this is your second case. So now any doubts so far? You updated the weight. Pattern P2 you apply. For pattern P1 you updated the weight. You are now for the updated weight you are applying the pattern P2. And the updated bias. This is updated. This is updated weight. This is pattern P2 you are applying. Now you got an error again, -1. What do you do if the error is -1? Again you subtract pattern P2, this is pattern P2, from the new weight, this weight. This weight you are subtracting. So you will be getting this new weight. New weight, new bias. Both. Okay. This is -1. Primary because error is -1. Okay. Now we updated both bias and weight. Now we are going to apply it for again pattern P1. You have to check again. See, for after applying it for the pattern P2 and you updated the weight. Okay. Now again what you need to do, you need to go back again to pattern P1 and check whether you are getting properly or not. That's what we are doing. Now you are seeing it's exactly satisfying, and for pattern P2 also it's exactly satisfying. 1 and 0 you are getting. So this newly updated weight and biases satisfies the problem. Okay, are you getting the point clearly?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Yeah, fine. Now let us move ahead. I would like to show you one thing first. Today's class, I think many of you, we can use this software as well as the book. Okay, it's a very powerful tool, the book it is. I would like to share that with you. Dive into, just type in Google. Are you seeing it clearly, guys? What I'm typing?
Sir.
Dive into deep. So if you look at this, it's a free book, I think, available on the net. It's an interactive deep learning book with code, math, and discussions. So here you are using something called a tool called PyTorch and TensorFlow. NumPy, MXNet also you can use, but I think most of many of the top researchers or the machine learning experts or machine learning engineers, they are using mainly PyTorch and TensorFlow. Okay, this is a book, in fact, you can see here. And if you just click on the linear neural network part, here you can see. Okay, our perceptron comes here. Okay, perceptron, multi-layers. Linear neural networks, perceptron, where it is. Show you. See, the key point what I'm trying to convey is, you can get the data set and you can work with it directly. This particular book is going to help you. See here, there is connection to GitHub. GitHub, you know, all notebooks you can download, or you can download the PDF of the book, and some courses that they are offering based on this also available. Okay, and you can also use something like, for example, I want to work with one classifier algorithm. Okay. Linear neural networks. Okay, we'll start with this basic elements. See here. So this book, if you look at this, the linear model is explained first. Okay, then the linear model is given. See the right, whatever we are seeing now. These are all the features. Area. Okay, area and the age. They are the features. These are all the weights. Okay, and this is the price. Based on that, see, this is the kind of model we are talking about. Y equal to W transpose X plus. Okay, now the last function is defined like this. We have seen this. Okay, analytic solution is given. Then we are updating the weights like, see here, this is what I want to say. The code is directly given to you. You can directly run this. Using MemacsNet you can run, or PyTorch you can run, or TensorFlow you can run. So if you want to do it in, you can copy the code and you can use it. You use it in your what you call Google Colab also. Okay, that's a permission given to you. You can copy the code and directly you can connect to the Google Colab. So the Google Colab, you know how to connect it. Colab. So for example, Google Colab, you can copy that code and then you can run it. Okay. Open with Colab Laboratory. You can store it in your drive, Google Drive, and from there directly you can open it in the Colab, Google Colab. See here. Okay. You can run it. So for example, yeah, here it is. So for example, I want to copy this. I want to run this code. Simply I can copy like this. I can take it to my Google Colab. Okay, open your code. Yeah, type your code directly and you can run it. It's a cloud server based application. Okay, you can run your code immediately. It's initializing and it is connecting to the cloud. Okay, it's connected to the cloud. So you can do a lot of things here. See here, you can do editing. See here, there is something called open editor settings. Just click it, you will get all this. You can get different dark color theme. You can increase the font size. Okay, all this you can do. And then one more point I would like to say here, when you are working out a project or something, use the text box. Okay, you can type whatever you want. For example, this is about a book. Please type into equal. If you type this, then I can come out. So here you can get the. See, for every line of code, whatever you are working out, now you can give comments like this using the text. Thereby, your code will be very clear to anybody who is going to work with you. So when you are doing your project, for example, in Google Colab, if some of you are going to work with the Google Colab, at the end of the day, when you are completing the work, it should be the entire Jupyter notebook. This notebook itself should have all the relevant information and details. You can type equations here, you can do anything. Okay, there is a provision to write equations using something called as you can directly use equation editors. Okay, you can type, you can learn this. Okay, you can one by one you can learn this and you can work out this. There is provision for list items. Okay, all these are there. One by one you can go through and try to utilize this facility. Okay, Google Colab. Now, yeah, now we'll come back. So what is that we have learned? Can somebody summarize so far where we are? What we have learned so far? So we have learned something about basically the biological neuron, the first class. And then we learned something about McCulloch-Pitts model, okay, MP model. And then we moved on to perceptron and the corresponding learning algorithm. Okay. And then we have an idea, notion about gradient descent, how it works. Okay. Now we are in position to write an algorithm as well as a code. Okay. So it may be either on Python or it may be on MATLAB or any other software which you are interested in, C, C++. Okay, you can write. Okay, that's the basic idea. So now with this, I'm expecting you to work on the code aspect. Okay. You need to, if you are going to work with Python, go for Google Colab and Jupyter Notebooks. It's the right time. How many of you loaded Jupyter Notebooks? How many of
Sir, your voice isn't audible, sir.
my voice audible?
Now it's audible, sir.
Yeah. Fine. So with this, we'll stop today's class. Okay, we'll learn about the code aspect in the next class with more insights on multi-layered perceptron network. Anything you would like to clarify now?
So can I repeat that book's name, sir? The book which you
Yeah.
code now.
Yeah. Dive into deep learning. Deep dive.
Okay.
I said deep dive. Okay, dive into deep. Dive into deep learning.
Okay.
Okay, it's a good book. It's an excellent material. Okay, you have courses also. See, look at this, the kind of facilities there. That's why I'm saying this community is really growing, evolving as a rapid kind of a pace, because they share everything and they give materials free. Okay, so that's the power of learning and all. See, look at this introduction to deep learning course offered at UC Berkeley during the year 2019, and you can see a lot of homework books, the video materials, okay, projects, what they have done, everything you can see. But don't copy it or anything, because you can use it and you can refer their website and use the material and customize to your requirements. That's allowed. Okay. So, and then quote them. That's very important. Whatever material you are using, quote them. This is the material I have taken from this. See, look, the kind of projects they have done. These are all some projects with a good background on coding knowledge is essential. Okay, but maybe you can do it. Whatever coding knowledge you have, you can start with some very limited data set and try to apply it and see what's happening. Then gradually you improve. Don't go for these kind of projects immediately. It will be very difficult. You get frustrated. Okay, you will not get results so easily. These are all some background is required. Some prerequisites are required. Okay, particularly coding and data structures and all those are required. So don't get frustrated by going through all these, and you go in a very steady phase. Try to understand the basics very clearly. Put some effort in understanding the basics. Then gradually you move ahead. Okay, otherwise you will feel highly frustrated at some point. Okay, so go in a very steady, but regularly do it. Regularly work out. Examples using sklearn, for example. You can see here. Classification. See, using only perceptron, this kind of network, what we have learned today, they are classifying text documents. It's very powerful. Okay, see here. So this is a kind of code. I think these are all, that's why I said data, they give a lot of weightage to. See here. Data management here. All these data management. Your code comes, the perceptron learning comes in single line. 2 lines only they use perceptron. They use directly the function. They use some 4 or 5 different methods. The code with the code they are giving to you. Only thing you have to learn Python and start applying. Little bit of pandas knowledge is also required to manipulate the data. Okay, so just to type in Google. Okay, I think this particular website you can refer to, Giraffe Academy. Those who are new to Python, maybe go to this website. So there is a course on Python. He is offering this tutorial. Sit with this tutorial for 3 hours first. You get a lot of insights, and the way in which he presents also extremely comfortable. Okay, you will start understanding the ideas quite comfortable. Okay, 3 hours, within 3 hours you can learn this Python basics thoroughly. You get a lot of insights. Okay, but practice is required. But anyway, you will be understanding all these ideas, for loops, how to apply classes and objects. Okay, all these you can learn within 3 hours of time, and then go for this kind of GitHub coding and all. Okay, for example, you want to get some good codes, just type in GitHub perceptrons. You get lot of data. The online community is very active. See, all these GitHubs are all there, but only thing you have to refer to them. Okay, you can use the code and you can refer to their thing. Okay, so with that I'll wind up today's class. Okay, anything else want to discuss?
No, sir.